it's the hot seat, where if you need specific help with your business, if you need some a boost to get unstuck, whatever it is, you have questions with something and you just need a couple business minds helping you, that's what we're here to do. And Holly was on vacation. So if anybody wants to grab the seat, you're more than welcome to. I didn't have anybody in my group jump. Did you, Holly?
Not before I left, but I just did a quick scope and invited some people in if they were having some business concerns. And I did have a couple of questions that popped up. So hopefully some of those peeps come on over and join us over here on Blab. Anyway.
All right. Cool. Well, last week we'll fill in while people are coming in. We had a really cool week because it was just random. Jim Bob Howard came on and he was talking and oh my God, I'm gonna draw a blank on her name. I'm a jerk. I can't remember her name. But she was having, what was that?
What does she look like?
It's Roca Body Fitness. I can't remember her first name though. But she was doing some product manufacturing over in China and she was having some trouble getting them to respond to her, and it was taking a really long time. So my friend Gary Leland jumped in, who is like, I always say there's never an idea that Gary gets that he doesn't do something about. And he had like a bunch of contacts for her and was like, here, so it worked out really cool because she was, that's essentially where she was. She was just getting stuck and couldn't, let's cancel this, but couldn't get rolling on it. So it was really cool, the opportunity. And we'll keep talking. If somebody jump in, welcome to all the new people. If you have specific questions, barely got that one out, about your business, if you want some help, please jump in, grab the seat, and tell us about it. There's no judgment. We're not going to make fun of you or anything for your business.
Absolutely not.
So I know a lot of people.
I've made tons and tons of. I don't like to say mistakes. I always say it's a mistake if you don't learn anything from it. Exactly. I've made tons of missteps. I've taken missteps in my business, and they've all given me a chance to, regroup, take a step back, see what worked, see what didn't work, and do it differently the next time.
Exactly. No, I agree. This is her first time in Blab. Amy, welcome. If you want to jump in, all you do is you say join the seat. It's pretty cool. And then it just turns on your camera and you're live with us. So be prepared. I always I always am looking crazy when I'm like, oh God. When I rub my eyes all day, by the time the day ends, I look like I've got these giant black rings around my eyes. And I jump on camera. I'm like, that was really bad. So yeah, if anybody needs some help, jump in. This is what Holly and I do every Friday morning.
And or if you just want to hang out and chat with us.
I know. Exactly. We'll take chatters too. We got Mr. Chris Ducker in the house. Hey, Mr. Chris is here.
Chris, what's up?
We'll help Chris with his business.
What up, ladies?
Chris, you need some good morning.
I'm now officially going to be the thorn between two lovely eyes. How are you, ladies? Nice to see you.
Nice
you too. Good morning.
I'm bouncing around. So I did my first blab yesterday with Darren Rouse from ProBlogger, and I had so much fun with it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and gate crash a load of blabs. It's Friday night in the Philippines. This is how lame my life is. I'm sitting in front of a computer. I'm a happily married man, so this is what I do on Friday nights. And then I was like, this is it. I'm just going to hang out and just gate crash a few blabs. What are you guys talking about? Friday Mastermind Hot Seat. Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay.
So if you want to be in the hot seat, you're more than welcome to.
Stick me in the hot seat. Let's do it. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about your entrepreneur launch and how awesome your pre-launch was and how amazing that scope last night was. And well, it probably was this morning for you.
Well, okay. I'll take all those compliments.
Okay, so that's a great. Tell us, because I know you've really been utilizing Periscope to build momentum for your new product. It's really been. How does that work for you? Kind of tell us a little bit about your strategy behind that, because I used it for my book. It worked great.
Yeah.
I know you're using it for your product. It's working great. Tell us a little bit about your strategy behind it.
I wish Periscope was around last year when I had Virtual Freedom coming out. I would have been on that like a ferret up a trouser leg. I would have been all over it. I'm telling you, there is there's something about being able to connect live with people, like literally very, very live like that, and so easily done in literally in your pocket, right? And so yeah, we've been enjoying using it and trying it out and playing with it. I say we because there's always a team behind Chris, and you know, we do a lot of content curation. I have my VAs looking at the broadcasts, taking note of what people are saying, what they're reacting to, what they're not reacting to. So I'd like to say that it was very ad hoc, but it's not. There is a certain amount of strategy behind pretty much everything I do business-wise. And I'm very, very calculated with my time. I don't invest my time where it shouldn't be invested. So it's been great. And I mean, to give you one statistic, one set of numbers, which will hopefully blow you away because it's blown me away. We had a target of having 100 members for Youpreneur, paid monthly or annual members for Youpreneur by the end of our launch week. And we have almost hit that entirely on just 3 scopes over the launch period. So if you invest it in terms of minutes, I mean, we're looking at probably less than 2 hours worth of broadcasting. The email has only just gone out to my mailing list, literally like an hour ago, my main mailing list. So up until now, it's all been Periscope, and it's been kind of crazy, yeah.
That's awesome. I love the VA perspective too, because you'd think Periscope you really can't utilize, I mean, except on the after side, right? Like using the video and stuff like that. But I love how you're pulling in VAs the during too, because you'd think it's just you. There's really not much you can do from a VA perspective. Exactly. But that's very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you know, I try and maximize my time in any way, shape, or form. So I mean, like even just sitting there trying to come up with content ideas for scope sessions, that's time, you know, whether it be 15 or 20 minutes of research or whatever, that's still time. So if I can have somebody watching those broadcasts and seeing what people are asking, because you don't catch every single question, you've got 300 people on there, it's just not possible. So, you know, it's important, I feel, to have someone making notes of those kind of things. And that's exactly what my staff do. They make notes of the things that I miss. And then they email me, hey, boss, somebody said this, somebody said that, somebody didn't like this, somebody didn't agree with you here, or whatever the case may be. And so for me, it's been I mean, it's irreplaceable for me now. I mean, it's Ducker Scope has been Monday to Friday for the last 3 months. We now will make some changes in the next month or two because the launch has come. And now, obviously, I am now officially married to my new community, and therefore my paid members require more of my time, and they will bloody well get it. So, you know, you'll probably see me dipping down a little bit and maybe going to like, you know, 2 or 3 scopes a week rather than, you know, one every day. And I also like the idea of maybe doing one or two blabs every week as well with other people, scheduled shows and, you know, other influencers and things like that. But yeah, I mean, this whole live streaming malarkey is just going bonkers, isn't it? It's crazy.
No, it's a lot of fun. I just did, so I've been playing a little bit with Periscope, recording podcasts, and yesterday I did my first blab as a podcast, and it's so much fun because it brings in new audiences, and then it's hard, you want to be in the moment while recording and asking questions, but it's also great because people get to ask questions that you may have missed.
Exactly.
And so it's just been a lot of fun pulling all the different mediums together. And then you just have to, you know, package them and put them out. But it really, I was just going to ask you too, how you plan on utilizing Blab now that you're coming over to this addiction too.
coming over to the dark side. I don't know. Or maybe it's the Rebel Alliance. It might not be the dark side. We don't know this thing. I mean, for me, I am still very much committed to Periscope, I think. You know, I have my own style. I've got my own kind of personality, which you either like or you loathe, one or the other. And I'm fine. You know, I call that marketing like a magnet. Okay. You either attract the best or you repel the rest, baby. That's tweetable. And so, you know, I'm all about that. And the Holly, I mean, you've been on a ton of my scopes. I know you have. Erin, I think I've seen you popped in every now and then as well, right?
Yeah, I've been popping in. I haven't been in the past week. I've been under a rock the past week with the book, but before that I was.
Won't hold it against you. You know, just the most important week of my life on Periscope.
I'm sorry. It was the most important week of mine too, Chris.
Holly was there.
I saw that.
Saying Holly was there.
Totally inspired me. I am revamping my entire launch right now. So I have a program from start to start. It's a 15-day fully immersive course in video confidence. And I had a whole plan of how I was going to launch it. And I was like, wait a second. I should be pre-launching right now.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Holly. So after watching him, what changes for you?
So all this week I'm talking about books that have a theme that are related around starting, anything that has to do with starting, because the first step in getting started on your video journey is actually that, just getting started. And that's a huge stumbling block for a lot of people and something that really holds them back. So folks, the whole week around starting and getting started, just kind of dropping hints about what's coming up and inviting people over to my free video block party, which is a 4-part video series where I talk about how to get started. I say look natural with quotes because it's not about, I can't tell you how to look natural, and going pro. And these are videos I've already created, so it's content that's already there. So directing people over to that, which then leads into the course. And then all next week, I'm going to be running through all of that content live on Periscope. And then on Friday is the day that I'm going to be opening the door. So I took down the sales page, put up a countdown timer.
I love that. You see, what you're doing is exactly what I have been doing for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And people didn't know I was doing this, but what I was doing was full-blown validating my sales copy. Yeah. Period. It was like focus groups on horse steroids. It was awesome because I could instantly see by asking if you agree, hit yes, or whether there was any hearts or whatever the case may be. Like, so I'm telling you right now, there are aspects of my sales page that I've completely removed because of feedback that I've got on Periscope. And I know that my page is going to work better for me because of that. And literally, as I'm on Blab right now, I'm not joking. Our email just went out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new members just come in the last 15 minutes. That's so amazing. I know that landing page is converting, and I know it's because of the validation that we really worked on hard. But people didn't know I was doing it, and that was the beautiful thing about it. Now I'm coming out and saying, I've been testing you kind of thing. And now everyone either really hates me or they're like, damn, that's smart. That's genius. One or the other, right?
I think it was brilliant. And I honestly, I don't throw that compliment around willy-nilly because, people who I think are brilliant, I hold to a very high standard. And honestly, that was brilliant. And I was watching from the sideline because, I was in a lot of your scopes.
Let me ask you something very quickly. Whereabouts are you based in the United States?
I'm in New Jersey currently.
You're in New Jersey. How easy is it for you to get to Philadelphia? Is that because my geography of America isn't that brilliant, but it's close, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I might want to team up with you on something, and I might need. You've got cameras and mics and lights and all that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna hit you up on email. Email me. Can you email me your contact details, chris@chrisducker.com?
Yep.
Lovely. Done. Love it.
Boom.
So good.
This is what Blab's about.
This is when first Meerkat came out back in March, and then Periscope came out. When Meerkat came out, it was like, this is what I've been looking for. This is what's been missing, that connection, that communication, that conversation with my audience. And I was just eating it up.
Yeah.
Love it.
I often say, people want to do business with other people, and that is very, very, very true. And, here we are. I don't know whether you guys have met in person before, but I know I've not met either of you in person. But we're talking right now, and we can see each other, and it's like we're hanging out in a bar or a coffee shop or something like that. So, it's Friday night over here. It's 10:16 on Friday. I should have a scotch with me right now. You've obviously got your coffee going on. I can see your lipstick on your coffee mug and everything there.
You know what? That's the way the coffee mug is made. I got this.
Is that like a little print? It's a print on there? Oh, that's cool.
It's printed on there. It's part of the design.
Oh, cute.
See, I would buy one of those, and I'd want my housekeeper or something just to screw my housekeeper. You know what I mean? Just to see how much stress that would cause.
Get this lipstick off.
Mine looks like coffee. It's a no judgment zone for me because it still is morning. I don't want people judging.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
Good.
Just kidding.
It's pure gin.
I wait till 10 a.m. for God's sake.
Pure gin in the coffee mug is what it is. You're drinking neat gin. That's what it is. Well, look, ladies, I just wanted to pop in and say hello to you. I'm doing that. Now I'm going to get out of here.
Congratulations. If you want, Chris, throw a link up to your group over there.
I will do.
Yeah, go for it.
I will do. Okay. And thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your time on Blabbing. They've got to change the bloody name, haven't they? The name is not... it says Blab Beta. Beta meaning we want to see how crap you think our name is, because if they're watching this, they've got to change the name. It's just not right. Anyway, and now DannyJ.com is saying, I like Blab. As well, everyone's entitled to their opinion, Danny J. That's okay. All right. Guys, it's been a pleasure hanging out. I'm out of here.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Does anybody else want to jump in the seat? Even though we didn't really help Chris, he gave us some help. I'll take it. That was genius,
though.
The
way that Blab works. You just, and that's one of the things I find fascinating about these particular platforms is you never know what's going to happen. There's always a sense of mystery and intrigue. Anybody could pop on. Hey, Kara, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Holly. How are you? Hi, Erin. How are you?
Kara. Good. How are you doing?
I have an empty wine glass. That shows you how well I'm doing. It's like almost midnight here in Australia, so it's
that's legit. You can have wine.
Very happy. Look, you know what? It just proves it's PM somewhere in the world, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Doesn't it just? So, look, I wanted to ask Holly something because I've been following Holly on Periscope for a while now, and I noticed the way that she's looking at the camera, and I've noticed it on Blab in particular, not so much on Periscope, but people who are kind of off because they're using multiple devices. So what are your thoughts on that, particularly when, you know, you're on the record here? So what are your thoughts on that? I know what my thoughts are, but you know, you're my go-to girl on video, so.
No, I think that it's important that when you're talking, you look into the camera. Because when people are watching it back, it's going to look like you're looking at them as opposed to, I'm looking over here. Hi. This looks weird, right?
I think it looks very natural, Holly.
And you lose that connection. So I know, like, you're like down there. This is me looking at you. But on the recording, it's going to look weird. So I don't need to look at you when I talk to you. I'm going to just look directly into the camera when I'm responding to a question, because when people watch back, it's going to look like I'm looking at them.
Okay. And so my next question is because I've been on Blab now since, over 2 months now, let's put it that way. So I find I look at myself. So I'm looking down here, but really I should be looking at the camera on my laptop. So what hints have you got to keep me looking at the little spot that's up the top of my screen?
Take a Post-it note and put it over your face.
Right. So
first draw a smiley face on it.
All right.
And then put it over your face. So then you're not distracted by looking at yourself.
Oh, bother. I don't have a pen there. All right.
I'm going to add to that, though, Holly.
Yeah.
When you're reading comments, when you're reading and watching, I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's not just a video chat or between you and I. So how do you, now you've got me looking at my camera. How do you keep balancing that? Like, you're reading questions, camera, reading questions, camera. Is that what you're doing, basically? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. How are you balancing all that?
Yeah.
I just look around real quick. I just do it really quick.
So is it just
I look at the comments to see what's going on over here, see if I need to respond to anything. And then I can type without looking at my keyboard. So I can just keep looking up because I know where all the keys are. So I can type, respond to people. I'm listening to you and I'm responding to comments over here that I've seen because I know I can type without looking at my keyboard. And then I listen with this ear. I don't know. I just can just do it real quick.
So it's just practice.
Yeah.
For you. Okay. So the wine seriously hasn't helped me this evening.
If I was drinking wine right now, I'd be like, what?
All right.
It would have been, yeah.
So
go ahead.
Just a tip for you, Holly. Everything's reversed. So for you, what we're doing in the other 3 screens looks normal, but for you, you looked the wrong way just then. So for me, I actually have to point up to the top left-hand corner of my screen, but I should be pointing directly at you right now.
Yeah,
you are
pointing at me.
Yeah, okay. I'm actually pointing at the top left-hand corner of my screen.
Oh, okay.
Point over here, then I'm pointing at Erin.
Yes.
So it's me.
There you go.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm
look.
pointing at Holly now.
No, the other way around, Erin.
No, I'm pointing at Holly now.
No,
you're not.
Oh, I'm not? It looks like I am on my video.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
It looks like you're pointing at Holly, but I'm pointing at Holly, but I'm pointing at the top left-hand corner of my box.
I feel like we're in like another dimension right now.
It does my head in. All right, I'm going to jump out. So thanks for answering that quick question. You know what? These things, seriously, today have changed so many things for me. I did not know that Post-it notes could not be just used for trying to work out when Brian Fanzo was on. So thanks so much, ladies.
Welcome. Thanks for popping in, Kara.
All right.
It's been a super fun.
We got an active morning. Anybody else have any questions or want to jump on, talk business?
I'm gonna put some gloss on.
Yeah, I need to put some makeup on. I'm like,
I have zero makeup on right now.
I don't either. I just woke up. I like crashed and burned. Come in, Danny. Danny J.
Yeah, please.
So I'm so bummed. I've just met Danny J via Scope and Blab.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, girl.
Hey, I know. We just lived in the same town, and
I know. She just lived here, and then she moves away, and we meet. I'm like, that's not fair. So, but that's okay. I understand.
I will be back next weekend. We got to do breakfast. Is it next?
Yes.
Yeah, next Sunday.
Is it next Sunday? Let me know. I'm around.
Yay.
So you're just coming in quick. You said, right? Like.
Yeah. Well, Wednesday to Sunday, but it'll be pretty busy till Sunday. I've never seen Holly before, so I'm following you now, Holly.
Awesome, thank you, and I'll follow you right
back. So, Danny, tell everybody about your business, what you do, and
well, yeah, this is actually a great time. So, I was the owner of the Sweaty Betties, and it was a online fitness community. I did personal training for 10 years, and moved it to an online business. And then in the last year, I kind of been struggling with my messaging and just knowing if doing fitness was the right thing to get out. Meaning like meal plans and workouts, just because I found my clients coming to me who, they thought they needed to lose weight, but it was always so much deeper than that. And so I really shifted my messaging to more of lifestyle and mindset. And so I'm switching over to DannyJ.com, hence the name change.
Oh.
And hopefully that site will be launched really soon. So I'm talking more about that and money and getting out of debt and having a lifestyle of freedom. And so I'm actually excited. I have to share like a little win. So, everything's been fitness, and I created a brand new opt-in. It's 5 debt tips, basically 5 tips to what my husband and I did to get completely out of debt and to earn more money. And my first day, and I only mentioned on Periscope twice, I did 2 posts, one that just was on Instagram that went straight to Facebook, and got over 1,200 opt-ins in the first day.
That's amazing.
Yes, and so exciting
awesome.
too, just because for me, not sure how it was going to be with the switchover of the branding. So really, really cool.
So
that's so cool.
What do you think was the catalyst from going to getting that many in that short period of time?
Oh, well, it's been building my audience for a long time. So, it wasn't like it just happened overnight. I have, a lot of followers on Facebook and a decent amount on Periscope and a decent amount on Instagram. So that's definitely key. I mean, it sounds like it happened overnight, but for sure. But then also I think in the back of my mind is going, okay, this is, I've been kind of asking what my audience wants and what do they need. And putting it out there was a little scary because my initial audience was more fitness based, but I've been kind of weeding through and having these conversations about money. So building that opt-in, I mean, if I threw it out there in some group of millionaires, it probably would have tanked, but it's at least attracting the audience, I think, that needs it. So there's definitely a lot to it than just creating something and putting it out there. It's got to be what people need.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, and it's interesting. I'm glad you led into that because I wanted to ask you. So you have this audience of fitness people, they joined you because they're interested in fitness, but obviously, there's always a correlation, right?
Sure.
We all want the whole package.
Yep.
So I know you've got a great Facebook following. You've got all these other places. Are you just going to switch it from Sweaty Betties to DannyJ.com, or are you going to invite people over to a whole new place and leave Sweaty Betties as is? How are you going to work that transition?
Yeah, so I've been toying with this for a while, trying to figure it out, and I'm still trying to figure it out on Facebook. I had a page called Danny J, and then I have a page called The Sweaty Betties. And what I plan to do was turn Sweaty Betties into, and right now it's Danny J : The Sweaty Betties, so that my audience could start to relate who the Sweaty Betties was. And that's been going for about 6 months. And then my plan was just to merge the pages. I tried to do that a week ago, and Facebook wouldn't let me. So I sent in a request, because I think it's just like a robot that looks at the wording, and if it's close enough, they'll merge it. Yes. So I'm kind of just waiting to see when it's going to happen. So I'm trying to merge it. So Sweaty Betties will be gone. My website will stay up because there's still great content there, and people can Google search, different tips. But as far as like all of I already switched over Twitter. I already switched over Instagram and Periscope. So Facebook is the last space, and it's just going to be gone because I don't want to run two things. But the website, I will probably still have some blogs and content going up at least once a week just to keep that going. And then I think it'll help people find me. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Holly, what did you do? You had a big Facebook debacle with pages. Was it a merge?
Yeah. Well, actually mine was with YouTube. Because when I revamped I did a whole rebranding of my business back in January, and I changed the name of my company from Videos by Holly to Holly G Studios because I got married, my name changed, and it was all this confusing time happening. And with YouTube, you have an associated website, so then you can create clickable links that lead back to your website.
Right.
That can't be changed. So everything was linked to videosbyholly.com. So I needed to so I built up a following and obviously a number of videos and views and things like that. And I had to completely let it go and start over from scratch, which has been interesting and fun. And it's now finally starting to gain momentum back to where it was.
That's good to know. YouTube is a tough one. And that's one I haven't decided, haven't figured out yet. Because I have all of my YouTube videos, I was doing twice a week consistent workout videos for a while. And I've got about 4,000 subscribers on there, but I don't feel like it's a ton. It's definitely more than zero. So starting over wouldn't be fun, but I might just do that because I've heard that it's a lot harder to switch names on there. So it's always fun. It's a learning experience when you try to switch names on platform. Even with Periscope, they don't automatically switch when you change your Twitter handle. And in fact, they don't allow you to switch names, but somebody mentioned to me that you can now. So if you put in a request, and it took about a week or 10 days to do it, but they did do it for me. And I think it helped to show that I had already changed my Twitter handle. I would just be really positive when you do the switch that you're not going to try to do it again. Because I'm not sure, with Facebook, you can switch your name once and that's it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So I just lost Holly. Is she still there?
I'm still here.
I see her.
Okay.
No, it's interesting because I know I started the Starters Club not wanting, and then I have a different Aaron Smith site for my speaking and then author, and we'll drive that there. And it's I don't want to work another Facebook page. I don't want to work. So it's there's this cross, right? Because right now, but I do intend on building other brands. Right. So that's why I want Aaron Smith separate, the Starters Club separate. And it's a lot of work. I can't even I got to keep up with the Starters Club. How am I supposed to keep up with Aaron Smith plus others? So you don't want to just come away, start, go away. You want to keep consistent, but it's a job. Obviously it's a job, but it's a lot more work than you think it's going to be.
Well, I was going to say, there's those options of saying Aaron Smith : the Starters Club, so they know it's you. But if you want to create other things, that's not going to work. So you can kind of have your Starters Club separate, or just on aaronsmith.com, a big bubble link to it or something like that. Because now what I'm doing is, and one of the reasons I switched to DannyJ.com is that I can create more things. I can create things in different spheres. and I don't have to stick, I can kind of create offshoots of brands and I don't have to start over. And that's the nice thing about doing your name. But the hard thing about doing your name is sometimes people are like, well, who's Danny? Who's Erin? So the Starters Club kind of, and the Sweaty Betties, inherently just in the name, you have an idea of what it might be. When it is just branding yourself, you have to kind of get yourself out there so people know who you are. So there's definitely a catch-22 to switching over and doing it that way. But P.S., Erin, I love the title of your book. I think it's brilliant.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you so much. No, it's been a week. It's been a great week. I'm very happy with the results.
Yeah.
Like for my first time, and I was telling Holly earlier on a call, like I'm super happy because I still know there was more I could have done, right? Like with the launch, with everything, I was just hitting a date.
Yep.
Hindsight being 2020, I'm glad I did it because it was my birthday. So it was like this post that went out and it was like, or people who wish me a happy birthday, I'm like, thank you. Go buy my book. You know,
want to give me a present? I know what you can buy me. My book.
I need to do a review for you, but I don't know. Master the Start. I was like, that is good. That's just brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you. No, I'm trying to get the whole, obviously the Starters Club, I'm the start girl, right? Like that's where I really want to focus.
Yes. You have copies with you. Yeah. Do you?
I just have, oh, I'm not going to have one wait. You're coming next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Okay. Next Sunday I will. I need to order a bunch.
Erin Smith special.
I will get you a signed copy.
Yes.
Just for Danny.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I need to order all those because we still need to schedule the book signing. We've been trying to find a venue, so but I didn't want to do everything in the first week anyway, to be honest, because you want to keep, Amazon loves the first month, not just the first day.
Yeah.
So you want to keep, I've got, now that I'm doing more podcasts, now I'm doing more things where it's just going to, you're just going to keep hearing about it all the time.
Right.
So that's how I'm planning it. So I wanted the book signing a couple weeks later. Yeah. So people are like, oh, I didn't see that book. What is it? And, hopefully just keep rolling with it.
Awesome. That's so cool.
It's fun. It's like I said, I'm glad. Kevin's asking if I did my own publishing. On this go around, I did. So just a little bit, shirt at Scope Week. I know I got to get ready for Periscope Summit, but,
I will be there too.
Oh,
are you
there too?
Okay. Yay! So I'm going to see you 2 days in a row. But no, so my strategy was just because I'm only a year into this, so I don't have this massive following. So I wanted to do self-publish first, hit it, do it well, show that I could do it. Because now the strategy is going to change for next week too. I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow more of a Brendan Burchard format. But hit it out, and then that way I can go to a publisher and say, hey, look at this. Yeah. I did this on my own. I wrote this book. Here's my proposal for another book. Sign me. And I know that I know there's a huge, I've consulted with so many people about writing the book. And so many people are like, just self-publish. You have to do your own marketing anyway. You're going to keep all your royalties. And I'm not going to lie, I get that, but there's just the vanity of saying I had a publisher. And to be honest, the book I have, the idea is more of a corporate reshift in thinking and people rethinking about how they look for jobs and stuff. Because I know I talk about entrepreneurship, but it's really, you don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur to be happy.
Right.
So if I want to get in and speak on the stages of corporations, it's going to be better for me to say, look, I've been published by so-and-so in this book. So there's a whole strategy behind this.
It is true. There's just that thing of saying, I got a book deal and it's more, it's kind of like, it's just traditional media. It's kind of that, I don't know, just the kind of proof behind it, the social proof, which maybe isn't necessarily equal to dollars, but sometimes the social proof is what you need. Listen to Diane Sanfilippo's podcast. I think it was the second episode with her publisher. She did an interview with her publisher on Build a Badass Business. And
okay.
It wasn't the first part. It was a 2-part series, but the second part was pretty good about publishing and just really interesting stuff.
Okay. Build a Badass Business.
And it's like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. I just listened to it yesterday. What's up, Tech Bloke Sad?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting world. Like it's all Lynn's asking if you could repeat. Yeah, it's a handful of a last name. So Diane's name.
Diane Sanfilippo. It's Sanfilippo. But if you look in iTunes or Stitcher for Build a Badass Business, and it's one.
Is that her second podcast?
Yes.
Because she has another one, right? Yeah.
Her first podcast she's been doing for 4 or 5 years, Balanced Bites, and that's all paleo based. And then Build a Badass Business only has 25, 27 episodes. So she just started it not too long ago. But she's really kind of going into marketing and teaching people how to market and good stuff. She gives really sound advice, really good stuff.
Yeah, I followed her on the paleo side of things. Because we eat paleo here. So I know the name. I didn't know she was doing on the business side.
Yes. And her book, it was a New York Times bestseller for 92 weeks.
Wow.
Crazy. And she's not one of those like buy her way into the New York Times deal, which does happen.
That was a legit.
Yeah.
Too legit.
Too legit to quit. For sure. Yeah, Holly, are you looking into writing a book? Because it's been on my mind for years, and more it keeps coming up. My husband's like, you need to write, but the biggest thing was like, I guess I feel like I need the title first so it'll direct me. And maybe Erin, I don't know if you started with the title and said this is what it's going to be, but kind of asking you two on, are you doing one? Oh, right, you're over here. We decided that.
For me, the idea has kind of been like on the peripheral, but not something I'm fully focusing on right now.
Right.
Because my attention is divided between other things.
Of course.
But it's on the list. It's on my list.
Yes. Okay.
Become a published author. Write a book that serves and helps people and is amazing and gets accolades. Yes. That's totally on the list.
Yeah, for me, it was, see, writing's my thing. Like, I'll be honest. Like when you read, I always tell people this. Hey, Sebastian.
What's up, Sebastian?
What's up, ladies?
When you read Gary Keller's One Thing, like, and he talks about the domino effect, I really set up my business where that was my click, right? So books, speaking, online courses, and then coaching. Like that's how I want to set up my business. Sure. So for the book, it was really important. And I wanted to write the story because I thought when I built the Starters Club, because what I saw, the Starters Club was based on the premise I saw a missing link. Everybody was teaching level B of this is just go build a website and then this is what you do with it. And I'm like, wait a minute. And there's all these people getting stuck.
Right.
So I said, well, I'm going to provide the steps for people just to get every single piece done.
Right.
But what I discovered was I could give you this. Everybody wants the steps, and I could give you the steps. I could do the steps for you, and I could even hand you a full-fledged business, and you'd still find a way to get in your own head and screw it up, right? Or not do it, or give it, And so the book I wanted to write was really the understanding of everybody wants steps, but you got to get out of your own head. You got to get yourself ready. This is what entrepreneurship's all about. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how this you are. It's how bad you want it. And I share a lot of my story in there too, because I didn't know what I was doing when I started my first business. I had no idea. So I just wanted to let people know, like, listen, I'm a farm girl from Wisconsin. Like I was not born into, I guess I was into entrepreneurship a little bit because my dad was, but it was never intended for me to do this. And yet here I stand. So you just have to, get yourself ready for it.
Gotcha.
All of those things can be equally said about video, and I can teach you how to do it. I can do it for you, but if you're not ready, no matter where you go, there you are. So you need to start with you, the foundation, the face, especially if you're going to be the face and voice of your business on the camera. If you're not ready, forget it. Lost.
So to your question, I didn't have the title. I knew I wanted it to be I lie. The title was The Art of the Start. And then I saw Guy Kiyosaki had it.
Gotcha.
So I had to switch a little bit, but I knew what the premise was going to be. That damn guy.
Sebastian in the house.
Well, I like Master the Start better. And I have my scope on Monday, Master Your Monday. So I just got a thing about, I like it. I just think it's good. Which,
Awesome.
on that note, I actually need to go because I have a scope in like 5 minutes. So thank you guys for having me
Thank
on.
you for jumping on,
Yeah,
Danny.
good to see you.
Next Sunday.
Yes. Bye. Nice to meet you,
Bye.
Holly. Good to see you, Sebastian.
Oh, you as well.
Bye, Danny.
Sebastian.
All right. Well, welcome, Sebastian. I haven't met you yet. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Holly G. Always a pleasure.
Of course.
So we were talking. I just hopped on because Holly was on here, and I saw Aaron too. So I was like, "Well, these are my people. I need to barge into this blab real quick." So we're talking about books for a little bit here. I don't even read books, and I wrote one, but I would have never done that had I not been approached with the opportunity from a publisher. So back up like 2 years ago, I was in Philadelphia for the NSA conference, and it was my first time getting in the mix with NSA. I was actually brought in as press and media just to cover NSA and help them out with their social media. And I met a lot of peers that I knew were going to be there, and then some other new people, I just went right to the top. Who are the best speakers on the planet? Because I want to make friends with those guys. I want to buy those guys drinks, and I want to help them out with anything they need to be here in social media. So I started to develop these relationships. Well, part of that was someone saying, "Hey, you need to meet these guys over at Advantage Media Group." I was in the expo hall. I'll never forget it. It was the guy from eSpeaker.com. Yeah, that dog barking. I thought it was Mom.
Yeah, she's my bossy.
It's all good. I thought it was Lincoln Doodle over here.
No, sorry.
So I was chatting with a guy in the expo hall, and he goes, "You got to meet these guys over at Advantage Media." So he walked me around to their booth real quick and introduced me who's now my publisher, Advantage Media. And guy's name was Adam Whitty. He's about 7'2", really tall guy, brilliant individual, and I really look up to him, literally. He said, "Have you ever thought about writing a book?" And I said, "I think about it every day. In fact, it's that ongoing thing on the chalkboard that's never gone away. It's that Google Doc that never seems to grow, because here's what I've done. I've put together 10 topics of chapters. And then I said, well, let's throw in some bullet points under each chapter, and then we'll just start to write paragraphs under each bullet point, and we'll just kind of reverse engineer this. I don't know. I barely got out of high school. What do you mean write a book? So I have this ongoing, never-ending project that makes me crazy. I'd rather get up in the morning and eat my pillow than have to write another chapter in the book. And just when I think that I wrote a chapter, I go click on that wonderful word count feature, and you figure out how far off you really are. So I had this ongoing project going, and they said, well, listen, we've got a talk your book option where we assign you an editing team, and we go to work and dissect whatever initial effort you put together, i.e. what's the formal word for when you hand something over to a publisher? The manuscript. There we go. I'm like, it's not a manuscript, but we can call it that because it sure sounds fancy.
You're the fancy one. You got to know all the fancy words.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, can I share this Google Doc with you and you guys make sense of it? And that's literally what they did. They assigned me an editing team of about 3 people, and we got in, wanted to find out what the book was going to be all about, what I'd already come up with. And I originally wanted to call the book Social Media is Here to Stay. And I had a strategy session with my friend, Michelle Villalobos, and she's a branding expert. She said, Sebastian, that name doesn't work for you with your over-the-top, in-your-face, unapologetic mentality. You've got to come up with something that's more in your face. And I said, how about Social Media Sucks? And she's like, that's it. So the name was conceptualized, the idea was conceptualized, and I thought, now what am I going to talk about? So as soon as I agreed to move forward with Advantage, that evening I was at a cocktail party with NSA with my buddy Jay Bear, and I said, hey Jay, I was presented this opportunity. They need some help out with social media as well. So we're going to figure out a deal to be able to get a book written and get their social media strategy executed. What do you think? And he said, well, listen, if it's not going to be a time suck and you can really help out, dude, you're getting a book. And I said, well, will you write the forward? And he said, yeah, absolutely. You got to give me a couple of weeks. So from that point forward, everything just continued to escalate and to move forward in the direction. I think we inked the deal in October, and I got the first set of books in March. The reason I'm talking about all this is because I never in a million years thought I would actually get this project done. I have a bookshelf of awesome books that I have great intentions of reading, but I haven't done it. But one thing I did learn is that I wanted to map out the marketing of the book, the launch of the book, very similar to how Gary Vee did. I mean, obviously he's on a whole nother level, but as far as marketing the book 6 to 8 months before the book even comes out, I mean, I bought 8 copies of Jab, 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 Right Hook just because he asked me to. And I thought, we're living in a different age where you can reach out to people that are within your network and start talking about a project like a book well before the book's even out. So, the book has become really my new business card, and it's become something that I walk into every meeting with, and I leave the book on the table because, like my buddy Adam Whitty, the founder of Advantage Media, says, Sebastian, people never throw away a book. You might give it away, you might leave it on it, but you never throw it away. And he said, when someone has your book on their desk and they're ready to make a conscious decision about moving forward with a social media strategy, and you're there with social media sucks in your bow tie, I can assure you, you are top of mind, and you're going to give them, you're going to give them more of a reason to give you a call. So, have I sold a bunch of books? Nah, I came out in March last year. I probably sold 900 or 1,000 copies, but that's part of, speaking deals too, where I'll go in and do a hybrid deal. They'll give me half cash and half will be books, and we'll do a book signing. A lot of the stuff that I really enjoy as of late is being able to work with brands and do in-office book signings, where I'll go in for a couple hours. I'll do a social media training, like a lunch and learn, then we'll sign some books, and everybody gets to do a Q&A. That model's really started to work, and it's different from what the norm is of like a normal training, because I don't know if it's something where it's tangible, where they actually get something, but I guess my point is that it's a different point in time. I don't think we write books now so that we can become a New York Times bestseller, or so that we can pay someone to do that. Or did I just say that? It has become my new business card. People say, why'd you write the book? And I said, I built a brand from nothing over the past 5 years, and I wanted to tell the story on how you can effectively do that. I mean, literally, I wanted to back up to 2008, duffel bag, arrived back in Miami. Here's where we start over. And then we fast forward to where we're at now. And it just goes to show, and I hope my story impacts people enough to say, hey, you know what? My job sucks. I'm out of here. I'm going to follow my passion. My back's up against the wall. I'm flat broke. I don't know what to do. Should I go get another job? Should I launch my brand? Should I jump out a window? I'm kidding. No. The book doesn't cover that. The book doesn't cover that. But I hope that it disrupts people's thought process. And I've had feedback from people saying, hey, I read your book, and it really changed the way that I started to think about how I can launch a brand or what I'm actually capable of. Because it's not a how-to, and it's no fancy story of rags to riches. It's just simply a story of, hey, listen, in this day and age, there's not a more exciting time to be alive. There's just not.
Yeah. No, when you can get a book idea and publish it yourself and I know Gary Leland, he just put a book out too. And Gary, tell us what you didn't write. You wrote very little of this book.
I wrote none of it.
None of it. Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize you didn't do anything.
Tell us how I think this is
another idea.
Preface that said
he wrote his name
on the book together. But yeah, my book is, and I just got on to tell you thank you. I didn't see, I'm not like you. I don't study stuff. I say that all the time. I just go to Amazon, look at the top, see it's there, and I'm out of there. I didn't know till yesterday you could go and see how you were ranked.
So that's credit to, I don't know if she's still in here. Is Coach Jenny in here? I love Coach Jenny, and I hate her all the same. She's not in here, but she's the one who taught me that about the rankings. So I kind of got I didn't even care about sales. I got obsessed with my rankings. And that's why I told Gary, there she is.
Well, you told this yesterday. So yesterday afternoon, I decided I was number 84 in small business. I decided to get to number 1 is what I've decided now. I'm number 7 when I wake up this morning. So I think that's worked pretty good for overnight. So I'm if anyone wants to go help me get ranked up to number 1, there it is. But I appreciate that tip from you yesterday. And that's what we were talking about yesterday on my show when you came on, is talking to people, helping them out, and it comes back. So I just love you for that. This tip was a great tip.
Hey, no problem.
Long time talking. I just wanted to come in and say thank you, really, and
you're welcome. Thank Jenny, because she's going to show it, and it gets obsessive now, doesn't it? You're like, where am I? Refresh.
Okay, where's this at? Where is this
number
at?
1, then I'll be through with it. But thanks, Aaron.
If you go to Amazon, it makes you nuts. If you go to your Amazon, and Jonathan, if you want to grab a seat, I know Jonathan did have a question, grab it. But if you go underneath like just kind of go down a little bit, and you're like underneath the description, it shows your rankings in your categories, and it shows your rankings in like I hit number 1 in my categories. I hit number 1 in short, like it was a different type, and then I hit number 1 in new releases and small business. So they like tell you all these rankings, and then you can just click on it and take your shot of look at I made number 1. But that's where you see it, and then it refreshes. Hour and a half every it's temporary.
And
but
what increases the rankings? People buying the book or
you're on a 24-hour clock. So this is what I read. Yes, exactly. Jenny's saying whatever the F Amazon wants, but here's what I read about it is that you're on a 24-hour clock. So they watch what the movement of your book does in 24 hours. So what you could do with your book is do like a 99-cent run or something on your Kindle version or something. And then, well, I don't know how it ties with the publisher though, because that's what I did was I did a 99-cent promo and then pushed. And I'm interested today. I'm doing a couple more promos for it, but then they clock you on 24 hours. So if you start jumping up in sales and reviews, your book gets ranked. I mean, I was competing against books that not for new releases, but in my categories, like I was competing against Napoleon Hill. So it's not like you're going against new books in every category.
Well, yeah, I'm a little in the dark about that. Not that because I just chose not to know because I know that the distribution part was definitely handled by on my publisher side of things. And as far as the logistics and the royalties and all this, I mean, that was the toughest part of writing the book, the contract.
You're like, just send me a check. Just send me.
The contract was, I mean, because I was trying to understand, but I also wanted to make sure that, it was a deal. I was getting into a deal that wasn't crazy, but I was like all year long, I'm like, where's the royalty checks at? Like, and they're like, well, that happens quarterly. In fact, I actually, in January, I got mine for December for $73.
Hey, now.
Book the cruise. Hey, but you know what? The only reason that I did save this and even put it up on the wall is just for accomplishment purposes. Like, again, I don't read books, but I wrote one. But again, you're not writing books to make money. That is for sure. For sure.
No. I'll tell you a cool book story, and Jonathan will get to it really quick. But so a good friend of mine, his name's Jeff Crilly. He's a big PR guy here in Dallas. He wrote a book, and his story is he wrote a book to get out of debt. But he was a news guy teaching PR things. So what he did was he was working in the newsroom. I think he went in at 2:00 in the afternoon. Every morning, every lunchtime, he went and did a speech, sold his book, peddled his book. Long story short, a $10 book. That's what he sold it for. He ended up he's got a great PR firm now here in Dallas because of his book. He peddled it for probably 4 to 5 years before he never had a traditional publisher. Sold a $10 book. The guy sold over $700,000 worth of books over the course. It's like 10,000 every year. That's what he's selling. Just going to speaking engagements, selling a book. And he's like, I've almost made $1 million. Yeah, it's 7 years that it took me off a $10 book though. But that's the power of it. Like he talks about it, sells it at his thing, and it keeps going. And he's like, I didn't make the New York Best Time Seller. I didn't do anything, but I've done pretty well off this 100-page book I wrote about PR. And the book is what built his business, like him speaking and everybody buying the book. And so it doesn't have to be your royalty. Who cares? Your royalties really are not what's going to make you rich. Like you said, it's a really pretty business card.
It's great, exactly, for credibility purposes, 100%. And by the way, if you didn't write the book and a ghostwriter wrote the book, you didn't write the book.
I'll agree with that one too.
If a ghostwriter wrote it, whoever that ghostwriter is, they wrote the book. That was the reason that I didn't. And I was careful when I said a talk your book program because it sounds like ghostwriter, but I was involved with every step of the process. Editing and all. So it's very different for him to say, hey, I got a couple of ideas, go write this. And I think a lot of authors do that. And I'm not trying to call out what's his bucket that was just on here, but he just continued to say, I didn't write the book. I didn't write the book.
No. So what his book is, and this is a compilation, he just had, he's saying he had 100 ghostwriters. He just had everybody submit a podcasting tip. Like, what's your best podcasting tip?
Got it. Okay.
And he put it all together, and that was his book. Like, he didn't say, like, his was and that's what you can do too. Like, have people contribute chapters, which is a different
type of
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I misunderstood that, Gary. Okay, so that's a whole different. That's called crowdsourcing a book in which you did actually write it because it's your crowd. Right?
Exactly. Well, I know Jonathan has a business question. So Jonathan, let's jump on here before we hit the hour. What question do you have in your business?
First of all, can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. I was going to get the technical issues out of the way. I'm stuck, I think, with what I'm attempting to do in my business. For those of you that don't know, I started basically a website called summitsocial.co. And I started it with the intent on creating content and attracting clients and, doing all the work to start building a brand, to start doing social media and technology for nonprofits, small businesses, and even individuals. So when I started it, I planned everything out that, first thing I would do is write an ebook to start collecting email addresses for blog posts and, further content, things like that. I haven't done that yet. And I feel like that I'm always falling behind on my content creation. At this point, I've got like 3 blog posts, and frankly, I'm not even sure if they're all that good, but they're there. Just ideas that I have come up with on my own. One of the things that part of the plan that I had in place is to decide what the first 30 blog posts were going to be, and to publish those every day until I get more going. But the thing about it is I feel like I'm stuck, or I'm not sure why I haven't, hey, I've got a plan and I'm just going to go walk through the daisies to get it done. So my question is, how do I get over that hump, or am I just thinking one way, and it's like, if you just thought about it a different way, it would all be kosher for you. So I'll be in the hot seat for a minute. You guys can rip me to shreds and build me back up.
Your question is, okay, let me ask you this. Do you have 30 topics that you do know you want to write about? You just aren't writing them.
I have not identified what those are yet.
Okay. Do you like writing?
That's a good question. I think I like to write. It's not something that I'm automatically driven to, maybe.
Well, and the reason why I'm asking you that, and Holly can go on this, and Sebastian, if you have something, jump in too. If you're not, you're playing a head game right now. Like, you're procrastinating. You're not. You should be doing this, but you're not. But to help you get there, there's another way you can get your content put together that's more enjoyable for you. Is it jumping on a Periscope? And I'll tell you one thing too. If you can get comfortable with Periscope, not only are you going to get you got your content, you got video, and then you can transcribe. You got your blog post, but you can take that, and people are going to give you more ideas of their questions. Like, somebody yesterday just said, hey, can you do a Periscope on this? Like, because I was talking about Facebook ads, and they're like, can you do one specifically about audiences? They give you a ton of ideas. You can never run out of content if you're Periscoping, but find a more enjoyable format for you. Maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a Periscope, maybe it's just video, whatever it is. Put your content together that way and make it more enjoyable for you, or easier for you. Sometimes it's just easier for people to say it like a podcast and then have it transcribed versus writing. And Holly, I don't know if you...
My question is, what are you selling?
Oh, it's a good question.
I don't think that I'm selling anything right now. I have the eventual idea of charging, I don't know, $50 an hour for social media consulting services at some point, but I still feel like that I don't have that expertise level yet for someone to say, that guy knows what he's doing, sign me up. I've gone to his website. He seems to know what he's talking about. He's got some successful clients already. There's the guy I need to work with.
Well, for me, I reverse engineer all of my content creation based on what I'm promoting or selling. That's how it works for me. So without that first, what's your big plan? What's your goal? What's your goal for creating this content? It starts with who you want the content to be created for, who are you writing for, how are you going to create it, which is what Erin was just talking about, like the format in which you're going to use, the medium in which you choose, whether that's audio, video, words. So the who, what, where, when, why, you really need to come up with that first. Then you can kind of reverse engineer that content. Who are you writing for? What do they want to know? And then how are you going to do it? And then why are you doing it? If you can't answer those questions, there's no sense in creating content.
And to Holly's point, if you set the end goal of being the social media expert, you're probably overthinking your content and what it needs to be. I always share this story of, we think, well, everybody knows that already, right? Every time I do a webinar about social media, I talk about Hootsuite. And I'm like, who the hell doesn't know about Hootsuite at this point in time? Every time I get off that webinar, every time I get an email, oh my God, thank you so much for introducing me to Hootsuite. So if you want to be that expert, don't think you have to write the next, as Sebastian brought, Gary Vaynerchuk, don't think you have to write the next greatest mind-blowing blog post that people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe. Just talk about Hootsuite. I mean, talk about anything, because there's always people starting who are new, who are going to be mind blown by the information you give.
Okay.
The other piece of advice I want to throw into the hat is you need to get into your zone of genius. So basically, something that you find so easy, like Erin was just saying, that you're thinking, who in their right mind doesn't know this stuff? That's what you need to be talking about.
So,
and Sebastian,
so who in their right mind doesn't know what I know?
Yeah, like who doesn't, like something that you find that comes to you so easily that you're thinking nobody would possibly care about this information because it's clearly common knowledge. But that's the thing, like it's not.
And if you want to do I had somebody ask me the other day at a speaking engagement, what can you please explain hashtags? I'm like, sure. I mean, it's just like we don't realize when you spend your time on blabs, when you spend your time on Periscopes, watching the experts talk, you're like, who doesn't know this stuff? But they don't. And I'll let Sebastian, I mean, you teach social media too, so chime in like on where you can start from a content perspective.
No, people are really stupid, and you can capitalize.
They are, right?
No, stupid should hurt. Yeah, no, really. What up, Ryan? So first of all,
I do not know this already. I mean,
but they don't.
First of all, Jonathan, I think that you need to get confident in what you're excited, what gets you excited, and what you're passionate about, and then start to figure out what your content strategy is going to be. Because I just met you 2 minutes ago via this blab, and I'm not convinced on where you're at, and that's okay because you just got started. But if I'm not convinced and I'm a perfect stranger, you've got to be convinced yourself first. Now, our ideas aren't always the best ideas. Granted, 90% of the time they're not. We think that they are, and they end up not being. But you have to have a level of confidence in saying, listen, when I started Social Buzz TV 5.5 years ago, I said, listen, I'm going to set out to educate people on what they don't know that they don't know. This whole Facebook, MySpace, I'm going to figure it all out. And I'm going to figure out a way to be able to monetize it. I want to educate people. I want to help them better understand how this whole Facebook thing, from educating people through social media training to establishing their social media strategies, to working with brands that want to further their message and work with influencers and guys that wear bow ties, etc. So it became an integrated solution for brands, small, medium, and large, to come along and say, hey, listen, we see some added value with working with you and Social Buzz. Why? Because we can establish a social media strategy. We've got an influencer and spokesperson in the mix, and we've got a strategist with a brain like you on our team. I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the end all. I don't know anything, but I knew more than they did, that's for sure. So, and with that provides value. So it goes back to the old value proposition and all those cute little buzzwords. But I just like to get right down to the nitty gritty. When your feet hit the ground every single morning, what absolutely just puts you through the moon to say, if I could do that every day, my life would be perfect. And it needs to be realistic. It'd be, hey, listen, I'm going to start blogging about cows. I live out next to a cow pasture. These cows are cool. I can't be the only one that thinks these cows are cool. Cows have been around forever. We eat cows. We raise cows. We pet cows. We tip cows. Cows are great. I mean, I'm using but you've got to be able to, again, goes back to, I think it was Gary Vee's talk in 2008 at Web 2.0. It's like, what do you like? Like, what do you passionate? You like Smurfs? Smurf it up, dude. You like Alf? Start writing blog posts about Alf. Somebody out there likes Alf. Somebody likes the Smurfs. You've got to figure out, because once you get that passion going, well, I knew it because it started to click because people were going, oh, when you help people know what they don't know that they don't know, that's something that's exciting because you know you're providing value. There's nothing better than someone saying, I am so glad that I came to your course, your webinar, I bought your book. I'm so glad because now I understand. I totally didn't get it. I still get asked questions. I got asked at a talk last week. Can you show me, can you do some one-on-one, bless her heart, I just had to say no, but she said, can you do some one-on-one training on Twitter? I just don't get it. And I don't have the patience for that, but I told her there is someone, so I sent her to Mashable's guidebook, which is always a Twitter. I mean, again, but back to my point, Jonathan, you need to figure out what gets you really excited and what you're fired up about, and then you start writing about that, because then you start shooting videos, and then you're on Periscope, and I like firing people up. I like getting people excited. I like sharing my energy. I like helping people know what they don't know that they don't know. And then I also like, putting a bow tie on, getting dressed up and talking about brands and going to places and eating in restaurants and telling the story of what's taking place with the brand. So I leverage my content on a personal side because you got to keep it real. And then also on the business side. But the business side is very personal too because I'm very much involved with the brand. But I'm excited about it. Do you understand? I'm really excited about it. The pay is horrible as an entrepreneur. It's awful. And macaroni and cheese and top ramen are more of a priority in an entrepreneur's life than most care to recognize. But the number one bit of advice I would give to a 21-year-old self, mine, somebody asked me that last year and it's still stuck in my head, and I give it to anybody saying, what's one bit of advice you have for entrepreneurs? And that is, it takes longer than you think. If you want to be an overnight success, it takes 10 years. And you're going to starve and you're going to want to quit. I don't want to give up every single week. And I got clients, I got revenue, I got it all. And most weeks I'm like, shit, where's the beat button? I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. This is crazy. But then I go back to that cheesy quote we always see all the time. It says, when you want to quit, remember why you first started. So I'm starting with all the ugly stuff right up front, but I'm also, this is a hug with a slap in the back of the head, Jonathan, so that A, you get encouraged and figure out what you're passionate about, but B, you need to understand what you're going into. And I don't know, maybe you work full time or maybe you're a full-time entrepreneur. What is this a full-time gig for you, or is this an idea? Or?
Well, currently I'm quasi unemployed. I work part-time for a wine bar that they need some social media help. So I'm managing their Twitter, their Facebook, and really cranking down on their website and their email marketing. It's capitalsellers.com if you want to visit the website. I didn't design the website, so don't fault me for the design of that. But I'm doing that part-time, and I'm looking for a full-time job, and I'm trying to juggle the Summit Social project that I have in the back of my head as well. So maybe I just need to cut some stuff out of life and focus a little bit better. But
you got to figure out what makes money and prioritize how you pay your bills and how you build a business. And that's the number one priority right there. If it's at the wine bar part-time, that's called on-the-job training as an entrepreneur. So you want to keep that side gig as long as it's not a time suck, but you also want to utilize that for experience. So when you get out there and go get a new client, go, hey, listen, my old job, I was part-time over there. I ended up being a client of mine. That was my first social media client. What I did for them, I can do for you too.
Right.
So that's good. That's your initial starting point here, but you need to prioritize. The number one thing is what makes money. The end.
Right.
Otherwise, you have a hobby and not a business.
Right.
Okay.
And you're on entertainment.
Sebastian, you're not excited enough. I'm going to need for you to notch it up.
I know. Sebastian, can you just be a little bit more passionate about what you talk about, please?
Yeah, I'm sitting down. I was like, oh, Jonathan, I'm about to go in, brother. Put your seatbelt on. Let's go.
I'm so glad you jumped on, Sebastian.
I'm taking notes. That's as big as it is right here. When I've got my pen and my legal pen, I'm taking notes.
People take notes. It's what you do with the notes that actually matter. You understand? Conference, people go to church, people do all this stuff with notes, and then it comes home and it just sits in a binder. One of my favorite quotes ever is that I go to church. I try to go to church every Sunday. Most Sundays I don't make it, but sometimes I do. And they say, "Do you know that your Bible works on Saturday? Did you know that?" And I'm like, wow. Again, I use that analogy. Same thing applies with business and taking notes and whatever you're doing. Write the notes down, but go back and review the notes and put those notes into action, because ideas are a dime a dozen. We know that, but the people that implement them are not.
It's the action that breeds the results, and it's the consistency and the never giving up, the drive, the focus, the passion. It's the passion that's going to drive you.
100%. And until you find that passion, you're just going to be waiting around, because listen, I guarantee there's a lot of social media experts out there. First of all, experts don't exist because this stuff's only been around for 10 years, but they're popping up all over the place. Everyone's either a realtor or a social media specialist. So, I mean, that's
both. Does that count? I'm both.
What's that?
I said I'm both. Does that count?
You can do both. That's what. A whole different direction there. People call it. So people are on Periscope and Blab, selling Periscope and Blab courses to people that are on Periscope and Blab. I'll never understand that. Ever.
Sebastian, you don't need to go to church on Sundays. You're taking us to church today.
Yeah, well, you need to hear it. I need to hear it. I get dropped on my head. Oh, and speaking of getting dropped on your head, you need to mentor up, Jonathan. Now, mentors are not people that tell you what you want to hear. Mentors are people like me that are going to make you cry most days, but you'll thank them later. My mentors make me cry. They do, legitimately. I feel like an absolute douche when I'm done talking to them. I really do.
If your mentor is not making you cry, you need to find a new mentor. That's basically what I got out of that.
Mentorship equals buying lots and lots of Kleenex.
Tears. It does. Because you said that, I noticed that you said that in the beginning. Go ahead and burn me down and then build me back up. Listen, brother, I was my first job when I got out of high school was selling artwork door to door, and that was their theory, was to burn you down and break you like the Marines and then build you up like you're the greatest salesman of the world. That doesn't work this day and age, but it works with mentorship. Because one of my mentors, Bruce Turkel, sat me down one time and he said, "Sebastian, I can tell you the truth, or I can tell you what you want to hear, but I can't tell you both." I walked out of there in tears. That is the reality. So you need to mentor up. Get around people that are rich, filthy rich, millionaires, people that are just balling out of control, and then get with people outside of the realm that don't really care about success, but that live a good life. And this isn't family. These are people. These are friends. These are people you're in touch with. These are people that you look up to. And people want to help. So you got to ask for it, though. I ask for every mentorship that I have, every single one. And then I return it. So people hit me up, hey, maybe I'm just getting out of school. College kids are a real niche for me because I talk in a lot of colleges. So when they get out and they're looking to transition into the workplace, they always want to stay in touch. And what do you think about this? And I'm really excited about that. So wherever you can find your mentors, just make sure that you need people to tell you the truth.
Okay.
On that note.
Yeah, Holly's got to run. So Jonathan, hopefully that helps. You got your notes. I love what Sebastian said. Do something with them. Don't just write them down. Actually, it's key. I'm a follow througher, so I do everything I write down. But I know a lot of people. You got to do it. And Sebastian, you're awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on this today. So happy we got to meet you.
High five! Absolutely. Let's get a Blab schedule with you, rock stars. All right.
All right, I'm game.
Every Friday, so we check.
Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. Hey, Jonathan, today's the day. Have a great day, brother. Today's the day it all turns around. So get started today, right now. Just do 3 things today before you start the Labor Day weekend.
All right.
And don't work all weekend driving yourself crazy. The work's not going anywhere.
What 3 things should I do, you think?
You got to figure that out. I can't tell all those things. But listen, the number one thing I can't tell you, this is your homework. Figure out what gets you excited and what you're passionate about. That's number 1. Send me a tweet on Monday and let me know what you figured out. @SebRusk. Take the weekend, think about it, and send me a tweet and say I figured it out.
I'll do it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Jonathan, good luck with your future endeavors.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. This was a fun hot seat, Holly.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Chris Ducker, I mean, it's like
I know. You thought it couldn't go up from there, but it did. So
You're welcome.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Thank you, Jonathan. Bye-bye.